Welcome. So, let's dive into a really fascinating new study that uncovers a super surprising twist in the world of eco-friendly shopping. It turns out that when it comes to buying green, your best intentions, well, they might actually be working against you. I know, it sounds totally backward, right? You'd think the more you care about the planet, the more you just fill your cart with all the sustainable options. But get this, researchers studying a very special kind of mushroom found something that completely flips that idea on its head.
Okay, so let's meet the star of our show, the bamboo mushroom. It's a delicacy, especially in Asian cuisine, and people love it for its unique look and health benefits. But what makes it really special is how it's grown.
And that brings us to this amazing concept called the underforest economy. So instead of clearing land for farms, which is, a huge problem, this method grows crops inside existing forests. The rules are super strict. You can't cut down trees, you can't use herbicides, and no chemical fertilizers. It's designed to be the ultimate win-win for farmers and the forest. So if you're a shopper, the choice seems like a no-brainer. On one hand, you've got your standard imported mushrooms, which, as the study notes, can come with worries about things like pesticide residue and heavy metals. But on the other hand, you have these locally grown underforest mushrooms that are safe, super eco-friendly, and have a way smaller carbon footprint. It should be an easy decision for anyone who cares about their health or the environment. But it wasn't. To figure out this puzzle, researchers basically had to become detectives. They needed a way to map out what's going on inside a consumer's head. They needed a framework to understand what was really driving their choices. And to do that, they used something called the Stimulus Organism Response Model, or SOR for short. It's a simple but really powerful idea. Think of it like this. Seeing a rainy forecast, that's the stimulus. It makes you feel worried or prepared. That's the organism's internal state. So you grab an umbrella, and that's your response. The researchers used this exact same logic to crack the bamboo mushroom mystery. First, they looked at the external factors, the stimuli. The first one was pretty straightforward, product knowledge. How much did people actually know about bamboo mushrooms? I mean, had they ever heard of them, cooked with them, or even just seen them before? The second stimulus was food safety awareness. How much did shoppers actually worry about where their food is coming from? Were they concerned about things like pesticides, contaminations, certifications? This is a huge deal for a lot of us today. And finally, the third, and this is the most crucial one for our paradox, environmental concern. The researchers measured just how much a person's love for the environment influenced what they bought. This was the variable that was going to lead to a really shocking discovery. So the researchers gathered all this data from over 2,000 people across Taiwan. They crunched the numbers using their model, mapping how each of those stimuli affected a person's intention to buy. And what they found was not what anyone expected. All right, let's start with the parts that totally make sense. The data showed that knowing more about the product and having a higher concern for food safety both led to a higher chance of buying. These connections, you can see them here in the diagram, they're perfectly logical. It all lines up. Until you look at that bottom line. The path from environmental concern directly to purchase intention came back with this number, negative 0.102. What? When all the other factors were taken into account, a higher level of environmental concern was actually linked to a lower intention to buy the eco-friendly mushroom? How is that even possible? Well, the study points to something called the green paradox. It turns out that the consumers who care the most about the environment are also the most skeptical. They've seen greenwashing a million times, and they demand a really high level of proof. So if a product's eco-friendly claims aren't totally transparent and verifiable, their concern doesn't turn into a purchase, it turns into suspicion. So what does this all mean? The huge takeaway here is that for green products to actually succeed, just being environmentally friendly isn't enough. You have to be trustworthy. So let's break down what this means for companies and, more importantly, for us as shoppers. The data also gives us this crystal clear picture of the target customer. The study found that women, older consumers over 60, married people, and especially those with children and higher incomes were all more likely to buy. This really suggests that worries about family health and just having the ability to pay a little extra are incredibly powerful drivers. So what should you take away from all this? First, if you're a skeptical green consumer, that is a good thing. Your demand for proof is what pushes companies to be better. Second, just remember that not knowing about a product is a massive hurdle. Third, food safety and caring for the environment are deeply connected.
A lot of the time, the safer choice is also the greener one. And finally, look for brands that give you real transparency. Things like QR codes on the package or credible certifications. That's how companies earn the trust of smart, eco-conscious buyers like you.
And all of that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. In a world where every single company claims to be sustainable, maybe the most important question isn't just how many trees did you save, but how can I actually trust that you're telling me the truth? Definitely something to think about on your next shopping trip.